What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Down Once More. Matt here, and this is our first episode in April, which means I am here this week to give you an overview of what is coming to streaming and theaters this month, as well as at the end of the episode, I'm going to give a little mini recap of the Barricade Boys, a show I saw this past weekend. So if this is one of your first times with us, welcome. There are always time codes in the description. So if you're like, I don't have Paramount Plus, I don't care what's coming to there, check out the time code, skip to the next one. While you're down there looking at the time codes, you may as well click on follow, subscribe, notifications, all that fun stuff that I have to try to get you to do so I can feel good about myself by having some viewers and subscribers and not just feel like I'm yelling into the void. So, all that being said, like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, all that fun stuff. Let's get into it. I'm going to start out with just one thing. So this is still kind of my opening of the episode. On April 4th, so this Friday, Team Star Kids' new original musical Cinderella's Castle is out on YouTube. So we've reviewed only one other Star Kid musical as of this time, Twisted, on here, which I loved. Rayleigh and I both loved, enjoyed it. I guess I did also talk about a VHS Christmas Carol on here, but Star Kid puts out some great stuff. They have a Harry Potter musical, Firebringer, Black Friday, Nerdy Prudes Must Die, a whole huge catalog on YouTube that is accessible for everyone to check out. So this year in November, I think we'll talk about Black Friday some. Talked about it last year, didn't happen, but I'm really excited about Cinderella's Castle. It looks like a lot of fun. They've put a decent amount of budget and production value in this. It has puppets, so I might need to bring Brad on for that one with his Muppet love. Didn't like how that sounded, but we'll be talking that eventually, and so that comes out on YouTube this Friday, April 4th. Let's jump to Netflix. There is a lot on streaming platforms this month, so I'm going to rapid fire through some of these, and I'll highlight some that really pique my interest or that you may not know about. So on April 1st, we got some older movies dropping on Netflix. We got The Breakfast Club, we got Rudy, we have Heat, the Al Pacino heist movie, and we got Sicario, Day of the Soldado, the sequel to Sicario. Fantastic movie, a lot of fun, great action, focusing on the cartels there. Really enjoyable movie. On April 2nd, a new Netflix original called Banger is coming out. Stars Vincent Cassel. He plays a washed-up DJ who is given the opportunity by an intelligence agency officer to take down his young rival, and this DJ, played by Vincent Cassel, kind of sees it as an opportunity to return to the top with a banger. Hence the clever title. Gotta love when they work the title into the description. So I'm intrigued by this. Give me some kind of ridiculous premise. Give me some DJs. I'm down. Should be a good time. On April 3rd, the animated Devil May Cry series comes out. That looks like it should be pretty solid. A lot of fun and action on there. And then Pulse, a new medical drama with Jack Bannon, Jesse T. Usher, and Willa Fitzgerald. It's about doctors and staff at a Miami trauma center. So right now, medical dramas have been kind of making a little bit of a comeback, with The Pit on Max just reaching a lot of acclaim. I've seen nothing but good things about it. I haven't checked it out yet. Medical dramas aren't really my thing, but I've just been seeing nothing but positives about The Pit and how solid it is, and one of the best shows on television right now that I feel like I have to check it out when I ever get time for it. If you are a comedy fan, you may be familiar with Tony Hinchcliffe, the roast comic. He had a great set that got him some acclaim at the Tom Brady roast, and he is the host of the famous YouTube show Kill Tony. Kill Tony, where they give comics a 1 minute. They draw their name from the buckets, give a minute to give a set, then kind of usually roast them, but sometimes give them some constructive feedback and criticism, and give people a stage to kind of make it big. Shane Gillis has been on there as a guest judge a number of times. They're doing Tony Hinchcliffe and Kill Tony are doing a number of specials on Netflix. So Kill Tony, Kill or Be Killed. The first episode premieres, the first special premieres on April 7th. On April 9th, Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencing documentary premieres. This is something that I feel like anyone with parents, anyone with kids, probably be kind of terrified and maybe have you think twice before you start just putting a shitload of content with your kid out there on the internet and force them to do this. I hate staged content and it's cringe to me. But I usually say you do you, but when you're talking about the dark side, if there's a dark side, let's not do you. Don't do it. Think about your kids. On April 10th, season 7 of Black Mirror, the kind of trippy sci-fi drama series, premieres on Netflix. I'll be honest, I have not watched this series since it was taken over by Netflix. The original BBC ones I watched, I loved. Really solid, really great. There's just so much great television out here right now. I'm behind on Black Mirror, but it is a really enjoyable show. Kristen Miliotti's in at least one episode this season. They've brought in some bigger names in some of the recent seasons, and it's been a lot of fun. So, on April 16th, The Diamond Heist, a limited series produced by Guy Ritchie. It's a docuseries about attempts to heist a $200 million diamond during the day in London. So enjoy a good docuseries. Guy Ritchie, heist action movies, that's his jam. Him producing this docuseries, I'm intrigued by it. It should be an interesting story to tell and see more about that. On April 17th, Ransom Canyon comes out. This is a kind of romantic drama set in the Texas countryside. I saw people say this is to kind of fill that Yellowstone, scratch that itch for you. It has Minka Kelly and Josh Duhamel in it, and it looks intriguing. If that's your thing, if you like Western romantic dramas, then there you go. On April 24th, the final season of You, so season 5 of You premieres. I really enjoyed the first season. There's another one that fell off my radar, but lots of dedicated fans. Check out You. On April 25th, a movie that has been in production and in talks about for years, Havoc. It's Gareth Evans who did The Raid. It's written and directed by him. It stars Tom Hardy. It's about a drug deal goes wrong and a bruised detective, this is the description from here, a bruised detective must fight his way through the criminal underworld to rescue a politician's estranged son, unraveling a deep web of corruption and conspiracy that ensnares his entire city. I'm a sucker for a good crime drama. Let's go. I'm all in on this. And it's on Netflix, so there you go. On April 30th, Extraterritorial premieres. And it's when a soldier's son vanishes at a U.S. consulate, she illegally remains on the premises to search for him, unknowingly entangling herself in a dangerous conspiracy. We love conspiracy shows too. Give me all of it. So that's kind of caps out what's coming to Netflix in April. The things that really piqued my interest, grabbed my eye. On Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video, on April 1st, Pineapple Express, Top Gun, Safe House, and Titanic are all dropping on Prime. On April 3rd, a new series premiere with Kevin Bacon called The Bondsman. Kevin Bacon plays the devil's bounty hunter in this. It looks like it's going to be some over-the-top gore, some action, and we love us some Kevin Bacon. And anytime you're doing the devil's work, it's usually going to be intriguing. For some reason in my head, this just screams Ghost Rider to me. But it's obviously not that. On April 8th, the See No Evil movie comes out. This is the American adaptation of the foreign film. It stars James McAvoy. It's McAvoy. And I really enjoyed this movie. It's a tense thriller kind of horror, but not quite. I'd give it more thriller category. Really entertaining, really gripping. I enjoyed it. Check it out. It comes out April 8th. On April 10th, G20 comes out. This is a Prime original movie. It stars Anthony Starr, who you may be familiar with as Homelander in The Boys, and also as What's-His-Bucket in Banshee. I loved Banshee. Great show. It also stars Viola Davis. So this one is terrorists take over the G20 summit with the president bringing her governing and military experience to defend her family, company, and the world. So you have Viola Davis as the president who has her military background. So you got the poster is Viola Davis in a dress with a pistol and an assault rifle. So There you go. Badass president fighting to help protect the G20 summit. The tagline is 20 nations, 19 captives, one hope. How about that? Nice and cliched, but it looks like a really fun action movie. Really excited about that one. On April 13th, Conclave comes out about what happens when the Pope dies and the Vatican has to find a new Pope. Critical acclaim, won a bunch of awards this season. It makes its Prime Video premiere on the 13th. On April 18th, The Narrow Road to the Deep North premieres. This is a new series starring Jacob Elordi, and I am intrigued by this. It should be a good time. Amazon's been doing some solid series coming out of this, so this is the descriptor of that. Burma Railway in 1943 and across the Pacific during World War II. It charts the cruelty of war, the tenuousness of life, and the impossibility of love, as seen through the eyes of an Australian doctor and prisoner of war. So we got a war drama coming out on Amazon Prime with Jacob Elordi. I'm a Jacob Elordi fan. Sign me up for whatever he's in. And then on April 24th, a new series called Et Toi comes out. It's the creator of Gilmore Girls and The Marvelous Miss Maisel. It's a drama comedy about the competitive world of dance set in New York and Paris. So that's intriguing to me. That also comes out at the end of April on the 24th. And Apple TV Plus, just a couple things I wanted to highlight on there. On April 11th, there's a new series with John Hamm called Your Friends and Neighbors premieres. John Hamm plays a financial titan who kind of finds himself, he's divorced and jobless, and so he decides, hey, you know what? I have a lot of rich people around me, my friends, my neighbors. I'm going to start robbing them. So, intrigued by this show. Looks like a good time. And then David Oyelowo is in Government Cheese. He plays Hampton Chambers, a newly released ex-convict who is striving to leave his criminal history behind him and reunite with his family. So amidst the struggle, he grapples with frequent, inexplicable moments of divine intervention. The trailer, just go watch the trailers for these shows. They're intriguing. Recommend it. On Max this month, a couple big ones here. On April 1st, Logan and the Terminator drop on Max. Gotta enjoy both of those movies. Logan, one of the best non-Marvel movies, if you will. A really good, fantastic performance from Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart in that. And speaking of Patrick Stewart, they had the Avengers Doomsday cast release this past week. They did a whole 5-hour long stream where they revealed a new chair with someone's name every 10 minutes. Wild choice. People are saying it's spoiling who will survive Thunderbolts. Marvel switches things up all the time. There is a chance it's a misdirect. My guess, because there's a number of people from Fox's X-Men that were shown in it, I'm like, what? But what if they're not playing their X-Men characters? What if they're not? Because one was Patrick Stewart, of course. And so I'm like, maybe he's just someone else. Patrick Stewart's Professor X has already appeared in the MCU and Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. So yeah, he's most likely reprising that role. But I could see Marvel doing some stuff like that. On April 4th, Y2K movie premieres. It's a horror thriller action movie. Looks fun. It didn't do great in theaters, had mixed reviews. But on April 10th, the award-winning drama comedy Hacks Season 4 premieres on Max. And then on April 13th, the big one for this pod is The Last of Us Season 2 premieres. I was a big fan of how they adapted the first game with Season 1. The changes they made sense to me. They're trying to pull more things from the game that they kind of pushed away in the first series, the first season, into this. So like the spores, that was a huge thing in the game. So your gameplay, you're going through these buildings that are taken over by the infected. And so Ellie and Joel have gas masks on the time you're going through there. And it's revealed, hey, it's really hard when you're trying to make a new series and then you're going to have your lead character's face obstructed by a gas mask. And that's audio that's not nearly as fun either. So spores, just not a thing in the first game. Based on the trailer and interviews from Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, spores will be making a return in this series. They're going to shift the timeline of some things in the second game, and it'll be at least 2 seasons. So the second game is a lot bigger. I was hoping to have time to replay the game before the series premiered. I didn't, so I went on YouTube and I watched the cut of all the cutscenes. I think I still have an hour left in it. It's 10 hours long. If you haven't played the games though, and you don't know what you're in for, don't go watch the gameplay from the game. If you really want to play the game, do it, but don't just watch the cutscenes. If you're going to do it in a visual way, a cinematic way, take it in with the show. Enjoy what these creators have put together. Since I will be doing instant reaction reviews, videos on here for it, I wanted to have a refresher so I can call back on some of these things. And it's just as great as I remembered. So I'm really excited about season 2. Some of the casting choices we'll see. I've seen people online just need to shut the fuck up about Bella Ramsey as Ellie. Yeah, they don't look exactly like Ellie does in the game. But Bella Ramsey proved that they have the acting chops in season 1 and gave an emotional and fantastic performance as Ellie. So let's give them a chance in season 2 before we're jumping the gun. I get they look younger. It doesn't look like there's been a 4 or 5 year time jump like there was in the game. So that's the part that's going to pull me out a little bit. Bella Ramsey just unfortunately has a little bit of a baby face, looks a little youthful. And so I get that that's a little bit distracting, but let's give it a shot. Let's watch the show and then make a judgment. If you watch it, still don't like it, okay, fine. There you go. On April 19th, Sal Vulcano, Terrified, a new comedy special, premieres on Max. He dropped it on YouTube originally, but it's making its streaming debut on the 19th. On the 20th, The Rehearsal Season 2 premieres. This has Nathan Fielder. It gives people a chance to rehearse for their own lives in a world where nothing ever works out as expected. With season 1, HBO was kind of cagey with is it scripted, is it not? Nathan Fielder is kind of a unique and brilliant talent in that sense. If you ever watched his show Nathan For You, awkward, over the top, kind of dry humor, but so fun, almost like a prank show too, not like Jackass Love or anything like that. But I really enjoyed Nathan For You. One of my jobs right out of college, it was always on in the break room during lunch. And so that's when I first watched it, and it was a highlight of the day. So season 2 of that premieres on April 20th. On April 25th, the A24 movie Baby Girl, which stars Nicole Kidman and Harris Dickinson, premieres, and it's about a high-powered CEO who puts her career and family on the line when she begins a torrid affair with her much younger intern. Gotta love a good affair movie. But that's gonna do it for Max. Let's jump over to Disney Plus. Only a few things I want to highlight on Disney Plus. The first one is on April 7th, Not Just a Goof. Debuts. This is a documentary exploring the untold story and making of a Goofy movie. Now, I've talked about it a little bit on here. A Goofy movie, I believe, is the greatest animated Disney movie of all time. The soundtrack and the music from Powerline and even just Max and Lester's Possum Park. Who can forget Lester's Possum Park? Great movie. You have Bigfoot dancing to Staying Alive. You have After Today, just a fantastic opening number. It's so good. I think I still remember at least 90% of the lyrics to After Today. And then, that's not even counting the Powerline bangers with Eye to Eye and Stand Out. My hot take is I prefer Stand Out to Eye to Eye. Eye to Eye is the one that always gets covered on the Punk Goes Disney albums. Magnolia Park did a great cover of it, but I want more covers of Stand Out. I love Stand Out. The one where Max is performing his Powerline in the school gym, and when he first catches Roxanne's eye a little bit more. And I mean, a Goofy movie is so good. You got the Leaning Tower of Cheesa. I mean, come on, what's not to love? But I'm really excited about this documentary exploring the untold story behind the making of it. And then on April 22nd, season 2 of Andor premieres. Andor is probably the most well-reviewed Star Wars series that follows Cassian Andor, who was introduced in Rogue One in the Star Wars movies. In this series, it has been a long time coming. It was designed as a limited series, 24 episodes, 2 seasons. Season 1 debuted almost 3 years ago, September 2022. So it has been over 2 years since season 1 ended, and we're finally getting season 2, which is talked about that it's going to be even better and more intense than season 1. It should be great. I'm really excited for it. Diego Luna is fantastic in the role. Alan Tudyk will be in season 2. It's going to be a good time. I'm really excited about Andor season 2 on Disney+. That's it for Disney+. But now we're going to make the jump over to Hulu. Hulu has a lot of already released movies coming to it that I'm excited about. On April 1st, Oddity comes out. This is a horror movie premiere on there. It's an IFC Films movie. I watched the trailer. The aura of it looks like it will be chilling. It looks great. I'm really excited to check that out. Arrival, the fantastic movie with Amy Adams, comes out on the 1st. The Equalizer, get some Denzel Washington action. Gone Girl, Interstellar, The Karate Kid 1 through 3. Obviously, the first Karate Kid is superior. 2's not bad. 3 is Mrs. Doubtfire, super bad. 21 and 22 Jump Street. Great movies. Channing Tatum, Jonah Hill, so much fun. Ice Cube in those movies is perfect and great in that role as well. And Channing Tatum is a comedic genius. I feel like his comedic timing and his delivery in these is so good. And I'm really excited to see he's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. So that's exciting as well. So let's give Channing Tatum his flowers. He finally got to make his debut as Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine. So glad he's getting to do that. And then on the 1st, you have The Wolf of Wall Street. And then an underappreciated kind of heist action crime drama is Widows. This came out years ago. Stars Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez. It's basically 4 women that are put together with nothing in common besides their dead husbands all owe debts to this kind of crime syndicate organization, and they end up basically having to pull off a heist and get the money and to pay their debt. I really enjoyed this. I watched it when it came out. I'll probably give it a watch again when it comes out on Hulu. Well, it's out now. It came out April 1st, so boom, out there. You can go watch it now. On April 4th, a new series, FX series, Dying for Sex premieres. This has Michelle Williams, Rob Delaney, Jenny Slate, Sissy Spacek. It's a woman dying of cancer. This sounds weird when I'm describing it. Who her goal is she just wants to orgasm with someone else. That's what she says in the trailer. I'm not kidding. That's her mission. It looks sad. It looks funny. It looks really good. I'll be checking out this series for sure. And then if you are a fan of the Handmaid's Tale, the final season 6, makes its 3-episode premiere on April 8th. So you can find that on there. The Cillian Murphy starring movie Small Things Like These also makes its Hulu premiere on April 8th. And then on April 18th, The Order makes its movie debut on Hulu. This is the Jude Law and Nicholas Hoult starring movie where there are a group of robberies and bank heists, and a lone FBI agent is tracking it. He thinks that this is tied to a group of domestic terrorists, the KKK, and instead of just a crime organization. So he thinks it's domestic terrorism. He's trying to pin it down. Watch the trailer for this. The trailer sold me on this movie. It is well reviewed. I love Nicholas Hoult, Jude Law, great combo. Excited to watch this on Hulu in a couple weeks. And then on April 22nd, In a Violent Nature premieres. This is a movie that had very mixed reviews and was kind of divisive, but it's a horror slasher movie that's told from the point of view of the serial killer. So an interesting take, kind of flipping some of that on its head. That comes out the 22nd. We're going to jump over to Peacock. A decent amount of things coming to Peacock this month. On April 1st, a whole slew of movies dropping. We got Bad Boys 1 and 2. You got Creed 3. You got Dreamgirls. Not many musical projects making their debut on streaming this month or coming to streaming this month. They must already be there. But Dreamgirls coming out. The Exorcist. You have Face Off, the over-the-top action, cheesy, ridiculous movie with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, where they take his face off. If you've seen it, it makes a little more sense. You want his face off. Nicolas Cage is on one in that one. Just full cage, full unhinged. Entertaining watch. The Fighter also comes out on the 1st. You also got Grandma's Boy, Grease, Happy Gilmore, the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, kind of in anticipation of the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie, which comes out June 13th, which from the trailers looks like it's basically just a shot-for-shot remake of the animated one, which, why? We don't need to turn all these animated movies into inferior live action movies. It just screams money grab. But Mallrats, the Kevin Smith written and directed movie that hadn't been available. You couldn't buy it on physical copy. It wasn't streaming anywhere for the longest time. It's finally back out there, and it's making its Peacock debut on April 1st. You also have No Country for Old Men coming out. You have Nobody. You have The Prince of Egypt, which is a great musical, one of the best animated musicals, turned into a Broadway musical, which we will debate that. I think I've talked about it on here before, which is hit or miss for me. The animated movie, though, fantastic. And for the rest of my life, from the Broadway version, fantastic. But the animated movie version is coming out on the 1st. First, you also have Shutter Island and Taken and That Awkward Moment. That Awkward Moment, fantastic comedy. You got Michael B. Jordan, Miles Teller, Zac Efron, a lot of fun. It's out there. On April 9th, a movie that's a bit of a nostalgia for me that almost no one else watched in the U.S. or know about is Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker. The Alex Rider book series is one that I read when I was younger. I'm going to blank on the author's name right now. But it is about Alex Pettyfer, who is a teenager who lives with his uncle. His uncle dies. He gets told his uncle was a spy, and he gets recruited by MI6 in Britain to become a teenage spy and infiltrate these different things. There's a whole book series. It got this movie has a fantastic cast. It has, I'll pull it up really quick. It has Mickey Rourke. It has Alex. See, I think I said Alex Pettyfer is the name of him, but it's not. It's Alex Rider. Duh. The name of the show, the movie, is Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker. Alex Pettyfer is who plays Alex Rider in this movie, who you may recognize from Magic Mike fame. But it also has Stephen Fry, Damian Lewis, Ewan McGregor, Bill Nighy, Andy Serkis, Alicia Silverstone. It's got a whole bunch of heavy hitters. And it's based, I'm going to find out the name of the author in this because this is going to make me mad if I don't. Well, that is the longest description ever. I'm looking on IMDb, and these descriptions with some of this shit is wild. You know, the sad thing, people, is I spend hours researching these and making notes, and still fuck the pooch and sound like a moron when I'm talking about this. But it's just not going to say who the author is. Okay, I have the books literally in the other room. But they did a series on, what was it, IMDb, Freevee, which is really good. It has 3 seasons out right now, I want to say, which is an adaptation of Stormbreaker is in there, Point Blank, and maybe they didn't do Stormbreaker. Now I'm going back on it. Stormbreaker is the first book in the series. It's a great introduction. of just kind of fun James Bond, but for teenagers. Surprisingly dark in the books, and the Freebie series that's on Amazon kind of dives into that a little bit more. This movie is just fun. Like I said, Mickey Rourke, Andy Serkis, it's a lot of fun. It's very cheesy. It's not good. It's not a good movie. I think it's like under 5 stars on IMDb. 5.1. Could be worse. But fantastic cast. Don't take yourself too seriously. Check it out. It's going to be free on Peacock on April 9th. And then on April 16th, Oppenheimer is returning to Peacock. And then on April 19th through 20th, WrestleMania 41 happens. That's right. The Rock is returning. He's going to wrestle again, most likely. It's not officially announced yet. John Cena, it's going to be his final WrestleMania. He's a heel all of a sudden, which if you don't follow wrestling, that means he's basically the bad guy now. And he was never a bad guy at any point in his career. He was always a face. Or babyface, aka, which is the good guy. But he turned heel, aligning with The Rock, taking out Cody Rhodes. John Cena, Cody Rhodes are going to be facing off at WrestleMania, probably night 2, probably on the 20th. Unless they do it on the 19th and then set up a larger match on the 20th. We'll see what happens. But WrestleMania, you can watch it for free on Peacock. On Paramount Plus, just a handful of things, no originals that really caught my eye this month. But on April 1st, so when this is out, you can check out Hot Rod, the Andy Samberg starring ridiculous, stupid, dry humor comedy that makes me laugh so hard for some reason, just awkward. Kind of think Napoleon Dynamite, less of a cult classic, but it should be more of a cult classic. I would rank it above Napoleon Dynamite any day of the week. You also have Braveheart, Gangs of New York, SWAT with Colin Farrell. I love the movie SWAT. It's not necessarily a great movie, but it's adrenaline, it's action, it's fun. I enjoy it. 7 Psychopaths, some Christopher Walken action. You got The Terminator and The Collector, a nice little horror thriller. All coming to Paramount Plus, out now. And that's going to do it for streaming. Let's jump over to theaters. On April 4th, so this Friday, a Minecraft movie comes out. That's what's called a Minecraft movie with Jack Black, which I love Jack Black, and Jason Momoa, which I love Jason Momoa. But I'm not a Minecraft person. This movie looks like hot garbage to me. I don't understand why it needs to be made and what they're going for here and who exactly it's for. But children, maybe you'll love this. Interesting cast if we're targeting children, but Jason Momoa has some funky hair dye, wigs, outfits. Could be entertaining, could be shit. Also on the 4th, what I'm more excited about, there's 2 movies. There's Freaky Tales, which has Pedro Pascal and Ben Mendelsohn. It's about 4 interconnected stories set in 1987, so a good old anthology movie. That looks kind of, I don't know, just unique, trippy action, comedy, drama. Looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited for that one. You also have The Luckiest Man in America, which stars Paul Walter Hauser and Walton Goggins. It's inspired by the true story from 1984, where an unemployed ice cream truck driver steps onto Press Your Luck, which is the big money, no whammies, classic game show. He's harboring a secret to the key to endless money, and his winning streak is threatened when the bewildered executives uncover his real motivations. That is the semi-ominous description of that movie. Well, again, on all these, go check out the trailers after hearing it. They look like a lot of fun. I'm excited. I really enjoy Paul Walter Hauser. He was great in Blackbird. He was great in Cobra Kai as Stingray in there. Big wrestling fan. Been doing some stuff with AEW and really enjoyed Paul Walter Hauser's work. Good time. On April 11th, The Amateur comes out. This is Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne. Basically looks like he's an analyst in an intelligence agency that wants to get trained to go out and take revenge. But that looks intriguing. Also on the 11th, Drop comes out, and it's a woman on a first date gets a message to kill her date or her son dies. And she's kind of faced with what to do and how to face that dilemma. So intrigued by this. It looks like a good, like, tense thriller. And then also Warfare, Alex Garland's new movie, just getting in the weeds. He did it with Civil War. Now he's doing it with this movie, just going straight up warfare with it. And they had a lot of military like consultants on it to try to make it feel as real as possible, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing for you. But I'm very intrigued by this movie. Alex Garland does great work. So he did Arrival, right? Yeah, Arrival. On April 18th, you have Sinners comes out. This movie is probably the one that I'm actually most excited for this month, as Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld. It's a vampire movie, and we love a good vampire movie. So the trailers for this, I'm intrigued by. I do think the trailers give away too much for this, but it looks like a lot of fun. It looks intense. I'm all in for it. And then on April 25th, there's two movies coming out. The Accountant 2, starring Ben Affleck and John Bernthal, comes out. Sequel to The Accountant, if you didn't know. And then Until Dawn premieres. Now, Until Dawn was a very successful and popular PlayStation game back in the day, kind of a choose-your-own-adventure one, where there's so many different outcomes that could happen depending on the choices that you make. It being adapted into a movie, is people are wondering, how are they going to do that? Well, David F. Sandberg is directing this. He did Lights Out, which I loved. I thought was a really intense thriller. He did Shazam, which was fine. I enjoyed Shazam for what it was. But I'm going to just read the description for us, and you'll see how they're kind of adapting the Choose Your Own Adventure game. It says, 1 year after her sister Melanie mysteriously disappeared, Clover and her friends head into the remote valley where she vanished in search of answers. Exploring an abandoned visitor center, they find themselves stalked by a masked killer and horrifically murdered one by one, only to wake up and find themselves back at the beginning of the same evening. Trapped in the valley, they're forced to relive the night again and again, only each time the killer threat is different, each more terrifying than the last. Hope dwindling, the group soon realizes they have a limited number of deaths left, and the only way to escape is to survive until dawn. So, basically, like Happy Death Day, something like that. You keep reliving the day after you die, but the twist is, it's almost like a different genre, a different killer each time, so you can't try to predict and figure out what's going to happen, because the formula changes each time. So, I'm intrigued by this. I don't have super high hopes, but if it's done well, it could be good. And that kind of wraps up what's coming to theaters this month. Those are the ones that kind of intrigued me, caught my eye. Apologies, I know I rambled on some of those, and I know that can annoy the shit out of some people, but appreciate you sticking with me, because now I've got one piece of news, and that's that they announced Christina Aguilera is executive producing a stage adaptation for the West End of Burlesque, the musical. So it's the movie starring Cher and Christina Aguilera is now getting turned into a West End musical and will be premiering in the future. So that's exciting. And now I am going to talk about the Barricade Boys Broadway Party. Now, I'm confused by one thing. There's four gentlemen here. There is Craig Mather, there is Scott Garnham, there is Simon Schofield, and there is Kieran Brown. Now, Kieran Brown, I am 99% sure that Kieran Brown was not the fourth member of the Barricade Boys when I saw them. But I went on a social media dive trying to find out who is this fourth person. It's nowhere. There's not the cast anywhere. They don't have him tagged in any posts on their Instagram. But I'm 99% sure it wasn't Kieran Brown. One, because I'm pretty positive they called him Liam. I wasn't taking notes, and I was assuming it was the person in the program. And so I don't remember what the name was, and I'm ashamed of myself for that. But also Kieran Brown, one of his highlights and big things on here is that he was in Love Never Dies, Phantom of the Opera. He received critical acclaim for his 2-year stint as the Phantom of the Opera. There were no songs from Phantom of the Opera sung in this, so that's what leads me to believe that there was an alternate Barricade Boy that was called in. But besides those little fun facts, because this guy was taller, gray-haired, didn't look like Kieran, I would never been able to tell. This was one of the most fun concerts I've ever been to. But before I get into that a little more, who are the Barricade Boys, you may be asking? This is basically a West End super group that was started in 2015 by two of the members, Scott Garnham and Simon Schofield. They wanted to create a group and a concert experience that kind of blends pop, rock, musical theater, and more. Just a genre mix up, put up a theater experience. It's guys who have so they're called the Barricade Boys because it's comprised of guys who all played roles in Les Mis. So guys on the barricade. Craig Mather in particular played Marius over 1,000 times on stage, and he holds the record for the most performance as Marius. So, fun fact, and he did a beautiful rendition of Empty Chairs at Empty Tables. This group, this tour, this concert, this experience, the musical director and pianist is James Dowdy, who did a fantastic job, did his own number as well, did a little bit of crowd work, a lot of fun. Everything seems more entertaining when people have British accents, I feel like. So that just bumps it up automatically another point or two on there. And the show itself is choreographed by Liam Steele, who is a Tony Award winning choreographer, they point out to you, before they did their super fun Mamma Mia medley. So this show, these guys were perfectly in sync with each other, fed off each other's energy. The choreography was a lot of fun. The banter was a lot of fun. Yeah, some of the banter is obviously rehearsed and it's staged, but you don't care. You're just having a good time. Speaking of having a good time, they did do Bohemian Rhapsody in full. Like the whole thing, start to finish, and it was a fantastic rendition and cover of it. It was so much fun. But the music of this show, it opened with I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis. Of course, they're the Barricade Boys. You got to open with Les Mis and then closed with One Day More. But in between there was a really fun version and cover of Defying Gravity. They did a few songs from West Side Story. They did a Jersey Boys song mashup, some Motown mashup, Queen, ABBA, other just kind of like highlighting British rock. They did the Beatles. It was just so much fun, and they were such great performers that this was one of the most fun concert experiences that I've been to. It was a mix of songs that I love from musicals, songs that I love just in life. Like I've spoken on here, I'm not a big classic rock or older music, but the energy, the experience, it sucked me in, and the arrangements that James Doty did were fantastic. I really enjoyed how they did. Just have 4-piece band on stage. You had your bass, your guitar, your keyboard, and your drum kit. And they made these songs sound so big, and these performers did a great job. So apologies for not being able to shout out the fourth performer, who I think was Liam. Maybe it wasn't Liam, but he sang A World of Pure Imagination from Willie. No. Yes. I'm blending together. No, he sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow. They did a medley where the four guys talked about when they were growing up and the music they fell in love with. And so one was his song from Oliver, Simon's song in Oliver, one of his first stage performances after Gavroche in Les Mis. Scott did... The fuck did Scott do? I don't remember. But we had the song from Oliver. We had Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And we had Pure Imagination, or whatever that song is called, from Willy Wonka, which Hot take, I don't enjoy that song. That's my least favorite song from that movie. I know people love it, but it's kind of like You Got a Friend in You Got a Friend in Me. That's what Scott did. He did You Got a Friend in Me. Nailed it. My hot takes, I also don't love that song from Toy Story. Everyone loves it. Doesn't really do it for me. But I think they're almost done with this leg of the tour. Maybe it was they just kicked it off recently in the U.S., but it's a lot of fun. If you have the opportunity to go see the Barricade Boys, I recommend you do it. You're not going to be disappointed. They're going to bring the energy, the laughs, and you're going to be in for a great show. Whether you like musicals or not, they're just great performers, great stage presence, really fun choreography, and you're going to enjoy it. But that's all I have planned for this week's episode. So make sure you tune in next week for I Don't Know What. And then the week after that will most likely be Jesus Christ Superstar. And then in between there, we will be launching The Last of Us 2 review bonus episodes. We'll be going live Sunday nights after the episode. So depending on what recording, editing, upload time looks like, it will either drop late Sunday night, early Monday morning. So something for you to look forward to. Let us know in the comments what you're most looking forward to coming out this month on streaming, theaters, YouTube, or on here, or ideas. What are things you want to see on the pod? Oh, almost forgot. Highlight my playlist. I started doing that in the What to Watch. So Matt's playlist, what you're listening to. Did 3 songs last time. I'll do 3 here again. I think it's gotta be I'm Not Okay, I Promise by My Chemical Romance. I'm Not Okay by Citizen Soldier. And then I Am Not Okay by Jelly Roll. Great songs, different genres, but kind of mixing it up. I guess the Jelly Roll one, kind of country, a little bit of rock. Citizen Soldier, kind of rock. But you got the emo vibes from My Chemical Romance too. So great songs. That's my playlist. It's great to have you all as an audience. Thanks for sticking with us, liking, following. Glad you stumbled across us. Hopefully you made it to the end. Like, comment, follow, share, subscribe. Tell us what you want to see on the pod. Have a fantastic April. Spring is here. And don't forget to go down once more. Later.